Hi, this is Shannon from Strategic Intervention Solutions. Today we are going to feature our MathMite Showdown activity with addition strategies. We're going to see some of our favorite friends such as DC, we're going to see Abracus, as well as the value pack, and some of your favorite characters, which is named T-Pops. Today in our strategies, we're going to be utilizing our new pencil toppers. So as you're going to pick a different strategy in roll, you're going to show on your accountability sheet how you use each of the characters. Throughout this tutorial video, we're going to explain to you how to solve 2-digit by 2-digit numbers using the different types of problems that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and roll the die. I went ahead and rolled Abracus. I'm blue, so I'm going to pick a problem on the board that I think would best fit for Abracus. I'm going to try out 26 plus 25. I would go into my pencil jar and go ahead and grab out my friend Abracus, who uses the strategy of compensation. Today I'm going to be showing it with a marker so that it will show up better. We're going to go ahead and show our 26 plus 25. Compensation is a strategy that uses Abracus that they like to zap a number and kind of change it to a friendly number and then change it back. You can always use concrete tools if students are struggling as far as knowing what maybe friendly number something's nearby, or maybe a friendly double that they might see. I'm going to go ahead on the top with my Abacus cleared to the right, white right, and I'm going to show 25, and then I'm going to show 26. As kids look at this, maybe thinking of quarters, 25 plus 25 is really nearby. So Abracus is going to zap this 1 on the 26 and kind of move it over. So I'm going to take the 26 and take away the 1. So Abracus likes to zap the number and make this a friendlier number, which is 25 plus 25, which equals 50. He's actually still holding on to that number that he zapped and has to zap it back on. So he's going to take that 50 and add the 1 back on to get 51. I was able to show how to use the Abracus strategy. So now it's my partner's turn, and they have the red counters. They're going to decide, once they roll their die, to decide what character they're going to use, which strategy they might want to use. They go ahead and roll, and they end up getting DC. I'm going to look, my partner's going to kind of look at this board to kind of figure out which strategy would really lend itself nicely to DC. I'm going to try 58 plus 36. DC is a character who wears a hard hat and carries around a mallet. He likes things to be very friendly, like in decade numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If he doesn't have a decade number that's nice and friendly, he might have a temper tantrum. So we're going to write our problem out so you can see it with the marker, 58 plus 36. DC is a little bit angry because this is not a friendly number to him, and neither is 36. He knows 36 is really close to 40 and 58 is really close to 60. He might again also use an abacus for students that might be struggling with this concept. I'm going to build 58 at the top, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then bring in my 8. I'm going to build my other add-in at the bottom, which is 10, 20, 36. This is not evenly filled, and so it's bothering DC. He wants to come over to that number 36 and decompose it into 34 and 2. His reasoning for doing this is if he takes the 2 and decomposes it, he can add it back to the 58 to make this a nice even 60. And when he adds his numbers together, he can see the answer quite clearly. We're going to show what DC did by taking the number 36, decomposing it into 2 and 32, and then he's going to take it into 2 and 34. He's going to circle the 58 plus the 2 to get that nice friendly number 60 that he was looking for. Going to add it to 34. So when he's done, he ends up with the number 94, which also matches what we have on our abacus. I have my counter here, and I have showed off to my partner, and it's on my accountability sheet how well I can solve with DC. Now it's the next person's turn, and they're going to roll and end up getting the value pack. Value pack is a great character in the Math Mites because it represents values, their place value. We have a 20 and a 7. When these numbers separate, they actually are not just a 2, he's actually worth 20, and the number next to it is worth 7. So I'm going to look at the board to try to figure out which problem would lend itself well to using our value pack. I'm going to come around and kind of look at this number, 88 plus 14. I'm going to get out my red marker that has the value pack on the top and write my 88 plus 14. Some students might struggle with how to use the value pack to decompose by place value. So a really great way to show this is for them to actually see what's going on with a concrete tool. So in this case, we're going to show it with the place value strips. We want to decompose by place value. Don't get confused because we're saying the word decomposed, because DC likes to decompose to make friendly numbers. Value pack, just like their name, are decomposing by their value. So if we decomposed 88, it would be decomposed into 80 and 8. If we decomposed our number 14, it would be decomposed into 10 and 4. So if we brought together the numbers, we can create the 90 and then create the number together to make our total. In this case, we're going to show it pictorially as we add these together. So 88, when decomposed by place value, is 80 and 8. 14 is 10 and 4. When I add my 80 plus my 10, I get 90. When I add my 10 plus my 4, I get 12. So when I add this together, I have my 90 plus my other 10, that gets me 100. So my answer is 102. This is a really great way for kids to look at friendly numbers to decompose. The use of the place value strips are very valuable for kids to visualize how they would use this strategy. For our last example, we're going to roll the die and have Mr. T-Pops himself kind of pop up. T-Pops is the oldest citizen in Mathville, and of course you know he loves doing math the traditional way. The traditional way is not always the most efficient way in some of the problems that we do in Mathville, but today he's going to model how he might solve a problem using traditional method. I'm going to take my red counter and find something that I would like to add together. I'm going to try 23 plus 27. T-Pops likes to have his kind of problem stacked in sort of a traditional algorithm, and so I'm going to show it the way he does. The one thing you want to be careful with if you're going to choose to use the traditional method is you always want to use the place value appropriately. So if we were to build this in a concrete way, we could show students how to build this on a place value map. So we could build our first add-in, which is 20 and then 3. These represent 10 frames to kind of model that by. And down below, we can put our 20 and our 7. Once students can kind of visualize this, they can add these together by putting their 7 inside of the grid to see that that totals a 10. As we make this, this is known as a 10. 10 ones equals 110. I'm not carrying it to the top. I am just renaming it 10 ones. I'm now making it 110. I'm adding in my other 2 10s to show that the answer is 50. As we make this on our paper as we're doing it, we can show how T-Pops is answering this problem. He did his 7 ones plus 3 ones, which ends up equaling 10 ones. Another name for it is 110 and 0 ones. I'm showing it in a bottom regroup. You don't have to do it in a bottom regroup. If you're more familiar with the top regroup, that's fine. For some students, they can see that total number there, that it's 110 and 0 ones. We don't want to say carry because we're not carrying it anywhere. We're regrouping or renaming. So 2 10s plus 2 10s plus 110 we know equals 50. Or 20 plus 20 plus 10 equals 50. So T-Pops can show his answer there. As students play this game, you can add on and make it a level 3. Level 3, if you wanted to, you could roll the die and use different strategies to try to get 4 in a row, horizontally, diagonally, or vertically as you're answering problems. You also could block your partner from getting 4 in a row by maybe picking a problem that's nearby that could kind of block them. The only challenge here is that you really have to be careful with the strategy that you have, that you know how to solve that problem regardless of the character that you flip. The other thing you want to keep in mind is having a discussion within the problems that you're working on. Which one is a jet plane strategy, meaning a more efficient strategy that we would get to quicker, or which one of these is a little bit slower, kind of driving along and putzing along to get to the answer. As you look at different problems throughout the Math Might Showdown game, you may talk to your partner about proving a more efficient way to get there versus a longer way that it might take to get to the answer. This is a review of kind of our addition strategies. You can certainly check out some of our animated videos on our YouTube channel, and also at sisforteachers.org you can see how to do the subtraction activities for this game, as well as what it would look like for younger students all the way up to decimals. Thanks so much for joining us.